Eric normally does all this setup. I'm missing him right now. Uh, I mean, he's still alive. Don't worry about that. I'm just trying to do things on my own. Let's see. It says I am live. Yay. Don't listen to myself. Like this. Hey, look, that actually posted, I think. Going live again. Excuse me while I do a little bit of housekeeping right here. Login. Videos. All right, let me start over. Don't anticipate anybody actually hanging out with me or catching this live, but if you do stumble across this, trying to do a little more live coding. I am currently working on this application and figured why not share it with everybody because there's nothing proprietary about it. And I'm using it as a learning opportunity. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about Laravel. The applications I've written in it have been super small. Not that thing is anything big, but started last night with Eric doing a live stream. He kind of walked me through a little bit of Filament. I wrote a bunch of proof of concept code this summer. My wife took over the running club for our kids' elementary school. There was a developer that wrote code for them in the previous years, but this developer decided they wanted to hoard the code, that nobody else should have access to it. It wasn't a pleasant situation, so I decided I will step up and help. So nothing fancy here. Basically, there's a Google sheet that has a bunch of data in it. I created a very simple PDF table that would print out little name badges that were laminated. The kids run around the track with these badges. There are parent volunteers with Android phones. Doesn't really have to be Android, but the application we're using allows them to scan that QR code. It automatically gets added to the bottom of a Google Sheet. Nothing fancy, just says on this date and time, this QR code completed a lap. They after every X laps, they get little charms or whatever the case may be. My proof of concept code is really ugly. I am embarrassed by it, but I'm going to share it with you. With that said, I'm also trying to do a bunch of other things. Last night, while Eric and I streamed, I realized that I don't know anything about Google authentication and I can't get that to work. And it turns out I had it working over the summer because I opened up the sheet to everyone. So tonight I'm going to try and get at least the Google authentication piece working. So again, learning opportunity there. If I do get that working, then I might go back and do some more refactoring. Who knows? Whoops. Always screwing up somehow, aren't I? So I want to go back. I left off where I have this sheet data resolver. It gets a client. It is the Google client. So I want to go back into my service provider. And this is the part I'm having trouble with. If you are hanging out with me, you probably know about it from Discord. But in case you don't, hang out with me at discord.phpugly.com or discord.phparch.com. And let me see. This is where I keep getting confused. I keep going through the documents here, and I can't tell the difference between the developer key. I mean, I know what OAuth tokens are. I was trying to do it without having to go through the whole OAuth dance. And that part I have not figured out yet. Because everything references creating these OAuth keys. And I downloaded token files. I feel like I've done all the stuff it's wanted me to do. And I just cannot seem to get it working. So let's try again, shall we? Create the OAuth consent screen, which I've done. I've made it an external app, complete the app registration form. I'm not planning on making this putting this in the App Store or anything, so I don't think I need to do anything there. I'm not sure what if you selected external for user type, add test users. Okay. But again, I'm not sharing this with anyone, so what if I just make this internal? Okay. Review your app registration summary, make any changes, click edit. Go back to the dashboard. Create access credentials for your app. All right, credential used to obtain an access token. Well, I know what that means. Oops, credentials. Create credentials. API key. Your new API key is displayed. I've got that. Copy your API key. I've done that. And I've restricted it to the proper thing. What I'm not getting is, do I need both the API key and the OAuth credential ID? I don't really need to access user data, so I don't really care about that. So why in the world does this not seem to want to work? Close that out. Still getting permission denied. And I know that I have that set right. I've confirmed that already. And just to be sure, I will do that off over here, and that does match at least the API key. Yeah. All right. Make Google Sheets API. Alrighty. Download examples. See, I'm trying to follow along right here. Set developer key. Create the service. Do that. That should all. Try doing this as well. Don't want the... Nope, 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 nope. All right. Try that again. Go away, go away. I don't think this is what I want, but client. All right, so here we're in providers. Go back one to, yeah, so if I'm in providers, back to app, back up. So I think I just need that. So I feel like that changed a little bit, but I don't know if it did for real or not. All right. Set often, set the scopes. Try doing that as well. You'll find I'm not a very patient person, so I don't really do this well. That's the scope I want. Oh, now you're just being absolutely silly. There's no way that'll work, right? So, see, I've even tried this part. Let's see. Service account.json. I've tried that part. Scope. Impersonate a user. Can I impersonate? I'm gonna impersonate Buttery. Okay, what? Hang on. Oh, you probably shouldn't do what I do, which is sometimes a little crazy. Trying to figure things out last night, and it got late, and I forgot where I had gotten to. All right, so using application default should have allowed me to use that. All right, can I download that again? Have keys or whatever. Let me try and create a new key and see what happens. Oops. All right, and this again. Without this. All right, let me see what happens here. Ah, that worked. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Thank you, everyone, for watching, for helping me with that. Well, it helps having rubber ducks. Now, to really confirm that this has worked, I need to go to my. It should be. Yeah, this sheet. I'm just gonna make sure that it's not shared with everyone. It is restricted. All right, we got it working. My question is, what don't I need? Probably lots of it. So this is the real simple Google Sheet. Every time one of these barcodes is scanned, it just gets added on to here. And so with that, we're making progress. My next step is to work on some of the reports and refactoring that. So if I come back over here. I don't know if this is bad practice. Probably is. I have my routes calling various functions in here in one controller. I tried to say for the school-wide report, I am going to, get the data and then process it. And then this get data method we kind of worked on last night, where I now need to refactor this to use those resolvers to get the data, and then just kind of format it in the right way. So what I want to do now is, first things first, we know that this was working over here. So I'm going to go to my reports page. That does not work remotely at all. Go school-wide. So we know that this is not using that client, which is perfectly fine. We can, that's the whole point of this, is we want to start refactoring this. So now I want a private read-only, and I want to get that not that data resolver. This here, I want to get that data. Oops, not that way. I'll turn that into a constant, and roster tab range. Kind of what we did before. Maybe after this gets broken. All right, so reports controller. Sorry for driving everyone away. Had a few people watching earlier. You got to come over to Discord so I can interact with you. Otherwise, I'm just doing this for myself. So here we got down to this. Can I just use that same thing? Data equals this data resolver. Same thing this time. Do this. That's tab. At least it's not complaining anymore. So given the roster, probably could have left some of that other, put that back. Curious. By doing that, this becomes this sheet data is data tab range. We're going to continue refactoring this, and I'll probably get some tests written around it. But for now, definitely don't need that or that. What? That worked. To a point. I had this better formatted previously. I don't know what happened there. But we are getting places, people. All right, so far all I've done was got rid of recreating my connection, and I'm injecting my sheet data resolver into here. Ideally, I will have something else that knows how to manage this part. I don't think this is quite. What is? It is because I'm processing that data that way. Right. Okay, so I've gotten that far. I've accomplished more tonight than I thought I was going to accomplish. Not going to complain about that. I'd like to not have just arrays of arrays of arrays, but that's for another time. Probably have a value object that represents a student, a student's resolver. That'd be a good idea. Why don't I just go ahead and do that now? I'm going to create a new class. It'll be a student's resolver. This is going to use my sheet data resolver to get the data and resolve basically an array of students. Naming is hard, and I'm terrible at it. Give me a break. Weird. So this is going to be sheet data resolver. I am going to say, hey, I want to go to my test, create a new test, PHP unit test, test resolvers, student resolver test. There we go. And do this TDD style, right? Create a new test. Student resolver. So we went through this last night where I don't want to, I want to use the Laravel test case because in there I get that set up. And I can say this create application. And then from here I can say this system under test. I often use that. I go back and forth whether I like that or not. It's kind of in convention at the day job. So our system under test, and we're going to make my student's resolver. This will just help with the the or the dependency injection for now. I'm going to test with the real data, get that going, and then I will create a mock that I will actually pass into it. But this will allow me to confirm that it's working as intended right now. So my students will be this system under test. Resolve. I don't know if I like that terminology, but that's what I'm going to go with for now. I'm going to start running my tests. Turn on auto test so it runs constantly. That's going to be an issue. Do I need that? Back to my so what I want to do here, confirm that's working. Do I really need that? I do not. So perfect. Now I don't have to worry about that. And lo and behold, my test fails. That's the whole point of TDD, is that fails. Let's go ahead and declare this property. It's not really mixed. It is a student resolver. And now we will go public function resolve. And for right now, that's going to return a simple array. And we will return that. Perfect. So is array students. Looky there. Test pass, we're done. Gotta love it. All right. Let's continue on, will we? Self. So same expected student. First student, and make sure that it's there. Expected student equals. And here I'm going to say, back here. Happen to know already that this is what I wanted to do, so I'm going to do a little bit of cheating. It's kind of the point of the proof of concept stage, right? Get that proof of concept going. Need to relocate these constants, although they should end up only being in one or two places when this is all said and done. All right. Undefined sheet. We know that to be the case. That is going to be is that going to be an issue? That won't be an issue. We will pass this in. Sheet. And I don't like that name. They call it the sheet URL. Oops. There we go. Make the refactor happy. And my testing purposes, I do have this in a sheet. It's always so picky. Said you got turn an array, but you return null or none. All right. Look at that. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Did not like that. Why can't I copy and paste? I don't know. Don't know at all. Look at that. Exactly what I wanted to see. So now we know my student resolver is working, but let's take this a step further. I don't want it to be just an array. I want this to be a new student. Oops. Value object going to be in. Create this class. It's definitely not going to go there. It's going to be namespace going to be app. It's not really a model in the Laravel sense because it's not really going to represent a table structure. It's not going to be an active record. Do that, but it doesn't go in tests. Go in there. Does that do what I want it to do? Look at that. Kind of did. And it gave me my constructor and everything's. Say student name, teacher, and grade. Kind of sort of works. I want this to be private read only. When we say same, it's not going to be the same object, so it's not going to work. Insert equals equalizing. Let's try that. Still going to fail. And we do new student. And we'll just pass the name, that, and that. Class. Oh my goodness gracious, that worked. So now I have a test around that. I know I'm going to get back my array of students. Now my report is going to be busted. My report's not going to be busted because I'm not using this yet. Private read only student resolver. is not going to be my student resolver resolve for my sheet. Yeah, that sounds so wrong when I say it. Now this will be broken. Now we start getting into, I've got to change everywhere students is used. Later. That student name. Now the question is, can I remember how to annotate this correctly? It's not just an array. It's an array. Just do that. Name that. Well, why didn't anybody point that out to me? It's not private. I want this to be public read only. It's read only, but anything can access it, right? I gotta get PHP CS all loaded up and going well. Student resolver. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Go back to my reports controller. See, now it's all happy. Let's do this data, other stuff. Should still be the same, but now we're having the issue with the in-our blade template, which is exactly what I thought would happen. So I'm going to go back to my report. Here, school-wide line 44. Student data. Student name. Look at that, fully refactored to using my value objects. It wasn't as painful as I thought it might be. There's so much more I need to clean up. Within this blade template, I'm trying to get everything to print as big as I can on a page, have the pages numbered, have the students numbered in order. Turns out that they care about that. And my wife said the first time she printed it out, it was like 13 pages, I think. And the kids were starting at the top and counting down to find out where they're at. And she saw kids counting as high as 60 and 70 down. So the sad part was that morning I had printed a new version with the numbers in there, but she didn't know I did that, and it sat on the printer, and she took the other version to school. It happens. What are you gonna do? All right. At this point, getting happy with where this is going. I don't need my roster anymore, right? Do I need that? I don't. Right. My next step is going to be kind of refactor out the raw data out of the sheet and kind of do the same thing, I think. Probably put it into an object that would represent my reports. Do some of my logic in there instead of kind of what I'm doing down here, which is a whole bunch of manipulation that is unnecessary. But I think I'm going to be done for tonight. Need to call it. Got other stuff I want to get done. This is fun. I think. I'm not embarrassing myself too much, I don't think. Made progress. We made it through Google authentication nightmare. I'm going to go change my keys just in case I flashed them, which I don't think I did because I ended up downloading a JSON file. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that. See, my phone is telling me it's time to go to sleep too. So, all right. I am going to say thank you everyone for watching. If you watch this in the future, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, PHP Architect channel. Hit the bell notification so you get notified when I do go live. I do want to keep trying to do this more often. Don't know how often I'm going to, but it's cathartic. I'm having fun talking to myself. Hopefully people will hang out with me and I can talk to them. Buttery, I see you typing. But I'm done. I'm tired. And hey, PHP Ugly tomorrow night. I'm sure we'll talk about this. Bye.